Om Ajnanatimandasya Jnanjana Shlakya Sakshamritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svamabhakadamyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiro Shiyoda Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Jagajatam Sakam Ragnatam Tam Tam Sativam Satvetam Savrutam Parajana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagalita Shivshakam Vitam Sham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jatpate Gopesha Goprakam Tarada Kant Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanashvara Vishabhanu Sutadevi Panamama Haripe Pankha Kaltra Visha Kripa Snavivisa Patam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charaswanti Namni Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Nirvishesha Punyavadi Paspachaya Desatara Srila Prabhupada
Hare Krishna Maharaj Dandavasana.
I'm happy to see you. Today we will discuss Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, the three modes of nature, verses 10 till 27. And that in the first section today, 10 to 18, we will further discuss the characteristics of the modes of nature. And then we will discuss what happens when you die in these modes. And then the result of acting in this mode, in these modes. So I will first start with text 10, and I will show text 10 on the screen. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Ajastamasa Vibhuya Sattvam Bhavati Bhagata Raja Sattvam Tamaseva Dhamma Sattvam Rajastata. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the mode of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharat, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. So these modes are always fighting with each other for supremacy. We can experience that in our mind. different ideas come up, suggestions, and that. But Srila Prabhupada makes in the purport, if we want actually to advance in Krishna consciousness, we have to transcend these modes. But he makes the point, by practice, you can cultivate a mode of goodness, and by that defeat passion and ignorance. So the devotee lives in a mode of goodness. He's getting up early in the morning, he cleanses himself, is clean outside, taking a bath, clean inside, cleaning the subtle body by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So by acting in the mode of goodness, we defeat passion and ignorance. Slowly we go up to goodness. That, of course, goodness is nice, but it's still a material mode which is binding, we have seen. And finally, we have to transcend from the mode of goodness, sattva, to Suddha sattva, pure goodness. And this pure goodness is called the Vasudeva state, the transcendental state. And only in that state, Srila Prabhupada makes a point, one can understand the signs of God. So by the manifestation of particular activities, it can be understood in what mode of nature one is situated. You can observe people, and by looking at their activities, if you know the modes, you can understand what modes they are. And by that you can understand what their future is. So this is the modes who are fighting with each other. Go back to our slides. Yes. So here the mode of goodness. So the mode of goodness, like demigod worshippers, they are clean, they are in the mode of goodness. Of course, demigod worship is not recommended. It's not recommended by Lord Krishna, but they are in the mode of goodness.
Maharaj, is it for all yoga, demigod worship is not recommended, or just for Kali yoga?
Say that again.
So demigod worship is not allowed. Is it just for Kali yoga, or it's for any yoga?
Demigod worship to get material profit, that's not allowed. No. But the devotee gives respect to the demigods because they're also devotees.
Yeah.
So we give respect them in that sense, but we give them respect, but with the understanding that they are servants of Krishna. Yes, there's more to say about that. But we have heard at the end of the 7th chapter, at the end of the 9th chapter, Krishna says demigod worship is for those who are alpa medasam, less intelligence.
Medha, yeah.
Yeah. Because they want benefits for the demigods, but the demigods, the benefits they give, they are temporary, and the demigods are also temporary. So what's the use? Temporary material benefit. Yes, but it is not devotion. Devotion is only for Krishna. Because demigod worshippers they have a separatist mentality. Separatist means this belongs to me and is for me. So they are separated it from Krishna because it belongs to Krishna. It's for me. They want something for their body, for their sense gratification. Anyway.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so there is constant competition of these modes. Therefore, the devotee keeps himself in goodness, that by being clean, truthful, and so on. But with determination and practice, one can develop the mode of goodness. And we will explain that in a few verses, how to do that really practically. That comes later. So by ascending the mode of goodness, but then when one attains the mode of goodness, one must transcend the mode of goodness and be situated in pure goodness, transcendental. And in that, only then you can understand devotional service, signs of God. That in the modes you cannot understand. That therefore, when we are in the modes, we take guidance of Bhagavad Gita, the spiritual master, and so on. That are our transcendental sources. Good. We go back to 11. So. Sarvatvareshu desmim prakasa upajayate jnanam yada tata vidya vivridham sattvam ityuta. The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. Verse 11. Yes. How is that? In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, in the mode of goodness, one can see things in the right position. One can hear things in the right position, see things in the right position, hear things in the right position. In every gate, there is development of symptoms of happiness, and that is the position of goodness. So we will try to understand that more deeply. And for this, we will read different quotes. So we have 3 quotes, short, we can read them. I will read the first one, someone else can read the next one then. O Vyasadeva, at that time being exceedingly overpowered by a feeling of happiness, every part of my body became separately enlivened, being absorbed in the notion of ecstasy. I could see both myself and the Lord. I could see a self as a spirit soul and the Lord. Purport, spiritual feelings of happiness and intense ecstasies have no maintained comparison. Therefore, it's difficult to give expression to such feelings. We can just have a glimpse of such ecstasy in the words of Sri Narada Muni. Each and every part of the body and our senses has its particular function. After seeing the Lord, all the senses become fully awakened to render service unto the Lord, because in the liberated state, the senses are fully efficient in serving the Lord. As such, in that transcendental ecstasy, it so happened that the senses became separately enlivened to serve the Lord. This being so, Narada Muni lost himself in seeing both himself and the Lord simultaneously. Can someone read the second one, Dhruva Maharaj?
Yes, Maharaj.
Please.
Dhruva Maharaj, when he saw the Lord just in front of him, was greatly agitated and offered him obeisance and respect. He fell flat before him like a rod and became absorbed in love of Godhead. Dhruva, in ecstasy, looked upon the Lord as if he were drinking the Lord with his eyes, kissing the Lord's feet of the Lord with his mouth, and embracing the Lord with his arm.
Yeah, this is the feelings of ecstasy, which we cannot even imagine. But anyway, we are hearing the description. Can someone read the next one? Oh,
I can continue if
yeah,
you
okay.
want. Okay. In Srimad, how does this apply to us? Is 11, right?
Yeah.
In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that we can see Krishna with our ears by hearing. Oh, my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotee that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Continue.
Yeah. No, that's okay. That's so this is a verse from the third canto, 3.9.11, from Bhakti Yoga Parivarpita Saroya, Aseshu Texapatot Nanutata Pumsam, Yatyadhirata Uhugaya Vibhavayanti Tatat Vapupanaya Seta Nanukahaya. So this verse says that the devotees can see the Lord through the ears. Very interesting. Just by hearing about Krishna. Because by hearing about Krishna, their heart becomes cleansed. So that's a process that takes a while. But when the heart is cleansed, then we see Krishna in the heart. And Krishna takes the form in which we feel attracted to him.
It's also true for visiting any pilgrimage also, Mars. When any person visiting, they usually see by the ears, not by the eye.
Right, yes.
I heard that lecture, some person, devotee was telling, like, if you visit the Mayapur or Vrindavan, you should see by the ear, not the eyes.
Prabhupada said, what's the value of these eyes? With material eyes, you cannot see, he said. So therefore, that we have to purify ourselves. And then when by the purification process, we can perceive transcendentally and feel this love for Krishna. That what is this purification? We heard about that before. 4:10 Bhagavad Gita. Many great sages in the past have become free from attachment, anger, and fear, and they became purified in heart through application of transcendental knowledge. And after they became purified, they developed love for me. So that's the process of becoming purified. Good. Then we go back to our slideshow. So.
Maharaj, can I ask a question?
14 is the 16 is next. Yes, sure.
So we as the devotees, we are practicing in the mode of goodness, and supposedly our lifestyle is in the mode of goodness, but it doesn't look like we are experiencing what is described in this verse, that our senses are really like enlightened by knowledge completely. Sometimes it is like that, but often it is not like that.
The purification process is usually a slow process. Takes usually, according to Srila Goswami, an entire lifetime. So after 40, 50 years practicing Krishna consciousness, it should start to go better.
Haribo.
But before we cannot.
Maharaj, if I start today and I leave the world another 5 years, so there is no possibility to get that position.
Then next life you have only
Okay.
to do 35 years.
Okay. Okay,
That is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in I think it's in the second chapter. In this process, there is no loss or diminution. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, you may remember, if you have 2% completed in this life, next life you start with 2%.
Nothing lost. That's great.
Nothing lost. But at the contrary, if we have material achievements, everything becomes zero. And again, you have to, next life, you have to go to school, you have to learn everything. But on the spiritual platform, no, there's no diminution and all loss. That is not there. And if we can relatively quick to come to the mode of goodness. That in a few years you can do that, even 6 months as a devotee, as you rigidly practice, and you will experience, you feel satisfied and happy. You don't feel the great ecstasy. That's something else. But you feel happy. And sometimes when we have kirtan and good absorbed, you can feel some of this ecstasy. It's just like a shadow. But that's there. So we get already something. No, not yet the results of Prahlad Maharaj. But of course, you say, if I die within 5 years, but how many years did you perform already as the devotional service in past years? We don't know. Srila Prabhupada, the disciple of Srila Prabhupada, asked on Srila Prabhupada, why did we become devotees in this life? And Prabhupada replied, because you were devotees in last life. So that's interesting. Difficult to say.
I think Prabhupada also, Maharaj, in addition, I heard, like, gave an example. One baby can start walking. Actually, that knowledge is already put in baby's knowledge. It just, has to, like parents trying to let him stand the way. It's not like automatically comes. It's already, like that knowledge is it, right?
Yeah, this transcendental knowledge is within us. It's covered over.
Okay.
That's all. So Srila Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is not an artificial imposition of the mind. No, it's natural. It's already there. It has just to be uncovered. That important points. Thank you. So we continue with verse 12, 13. 12. Lobha pavittira ramba karmanam samaspriha rajasitani jayante vivite bharatarshava. O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. So but that means, yes, one in the mode of passion is never satisfied. So it's lust that fuels this mode of passion. We heard that before. Krishna says, Avitram Jnana Metena Jnana Nitya Varna, Kamrupena Kantya Dushpranana Lenasha. This lust burns and is never satisfied. You want always more, more and more. And more means symptoms of great attachment, intense, uncontrollable hankering. They did a survey somewhere, an institution. They interviewed billionaires. They had all 1 billion, reached 1 billion. And they asked, what do you want? What was their reply? We want 2 billion. Never satisfied. Always more and more. It's never satisfied with the position one has already acquired. One wants to increase one's position. But whatever they get, it's temporary. You may have a big house, but then you have to leave the body. What's the use? It's all madness. Well, 13. Aprakasha pravichisha pramado moai vacha tamasya dani jayante vrifite kurunandana. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, the son of Kunti, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested. So when there is no illumination, when it's dark, no light, the knowledge is absent. That when in a mode of ignorance, he acts whimsically for no purpose. So he likes to be inactive, lazy. Still some consciousness, but wants to be inactive. That's the mode of ignorance. People who are addicted to intoxication and so on, meat eating. 14. Yada sattve pravittetu pralayam yati deyabrit tatottama vidam lokam amalam patipatyate. When one dies in a mode of goodness, he attains the pure higher planets of the great sages. Yes, that the great sages. And the Prabhupada explained this. Brahmaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Maharloka. These are the planets above Svarga. That Brahmaloka is Satyaloka, where Lord Brahma resides. That and they enjoy godless happiness. That's the mode of goodness. Now, passion and ignorance. 15. Ajasi palayam katva karmasangisu jayate tatapani palinas tamasi mudajanisu jayate. When one dies in a mode of passion, he has to take birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, it takes birth in the animal kingdom. So, if one develops a mode of ignorance, after his death, is degraded to an animal form of life. We may remember in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says that Nami Bhaktya Pranashati, my devotee will never perish. Krishna's promise. So even if you have performed devotional service to a certain extent, but not fully, you didn't become a devotee chanting 16 rounds and following the principles, but you did some devotional service regularly in your during your life, then at least next life you get the human form of life. That's if you don't get the perfection, always you practice some Krishna consciousness, the human form is guaranteed. But this is the mode of ignorance. One is degraded to animal form of life. And one has to elevate himself by an evolutionary process to come again to the human form of life. That evolutionary process goes very slow. That gradually you go up to from species to species. Yeah, like you have, and then you come to the cow, 100 cow lives, and then you get the human form again, another chance. But it takes many, many lifetimes to grow up again. That now there's a quote here that we will read. Share. 18. There are a few quotes, but we cannot read all of them. Can someone read the first here? 18. Well, no, we are 15. 15. There's only one quote. Yeah. That is interesting. So can someone read this? A University of Hawaii student?
I can read. Hare Krishna.
Please.
A University of Hawaii student asked Srila Prabhupada what harm there was in becoming a dog. What is the wrong there if I become dog? Yes, he said flatly, I shall forget everything. So this is the university education, that one is not afraid of becoming a dog. He thinks that this is also very good. So where's the humanity? Where's the human civilization? Srila Prabhupada, you have my blessings.
Yeah, even when Srila Prabhupada visited Uppsala University in Stockholm, there was also a student who said the same thing, but it was more challenging. He said to Prabhupada, Swamiji, I want you to know, I want to be a dog, that I like to become a dog. And Srila Prabhupada raised his hand and said, you have my blessings. Yeah, poor guy. That is 15. And then we go back, 16. Karmana Shrukitasya ho Sattvikam Nirmalam Phalam Rajasastha Phalam Dukam Ajnanam Tamasa Phalam. The result of pious action is pure and is set in the mode of goodness, but the action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. So if one develops the mode of ignorance, then after his death, he becomes an animal, we have heard. But here, we see that the performing mode of ignorance is without knowledge. And therefore, all these activities result in present misery, and afterwards he will go to animal life. And the one in the mode of passion, it's simply miserable. And There may be a little so-called mental happiness. I have this house of this money, but it's not actually happiness. And of course, ignorance means slaughtering poor animals is also due to the mode of ignorance. Because of ignorance, people do not perceive that there is a complete state controlled by the Supreme Lord. Every living creature is a son of the Supreme Lord, and he does not tolerate even an ant being killed. That one has to pay for it. So, what is one of the solutions in the purport at the end? Protection of the cows and the Brahmins in the mode of goodness. The Brahmins and the cows must be given all protection. That is real advancement of civilization. In human society, spiritual knowledge is neglected and cow killing is encouraged. A civilization which guides the citizens to become animals in their next life is certainly not a human civilization. By that we can understand that modern civilization is not really a human civilization from that point of view. That in this context, this 16, now 16.
Maharaj, sorry, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So when we say the result from the action in the mode of goodness is pure, how exactly to understand this? Like when we hear result from passion is misery or from ignorance is foolishness, this is kind of very clear what does it mean, but what means that the result is pure? Can you explain, please?
Yeah, that's the result is pure because the mode of goodness is pure in itself. Our transcendental consciousness is Suddha Sattva, is pure goodness. That's our natural consciousness, pure goodness. But then you have the material mode of goodness, that's also pure, but it is contaminated, influenced by the other modes. We just have heard that the modes are in competition. But Suddha Sattva cannot be influenced. Transcendental goodness cannot be influenced by the modes. But the material mode of goodness is influenced and is always impure. That because it's influenced by other. But in its normal state, it's pure. The contamination is rajas and tamas. The contamination is passion and ignorance. If we perform devotional service, we chant Hare Krishna, gradually we go up in these modes. It takes a while, but we are defeating these lower modes and come to goodness. But goodness, the material mode of goodness is always impure. But therefore, to get rid of these impurities, one must come to pure goodness, Suddha Sattva, or the Vasudeva state. So therefore, purification means getting rid of passion and ignorance. That's explained in the Bhagavatam. You have the verse there in the Bhagavatam that says, which we chant every morning in the Bhagavatam class. Nastapaya Savatrasu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavata Tamaske Bhakti Bhavata Naistaki. By daily attending the class of the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all this troublesome to the heart is nearly destroyed. Nearly. And what is troublesome to the heart is a mode of passion and ignorance. That's troublesome. And then in the next verse in the Bhagavatam said, Tatura jastamopa kamalobisa sayasite sitera teradavitam stitve satve prasidite. And then gradually, the mode of passion and ignorance is removed from your consciousness, and one comes to goodness. And that's the purification of the devotee. We come to goodness. And when we come to goodness, from there you can go to transcendence. And that's the next verse. Evam pranasya manasa. If one is in the mode of goodness, one is completely peaceful. Bhagavat Bhakti Yoga Taha. Then you can, then you are on Nishta, steadiness in devotional service, and you can fix your mind on Krishna without any hindrance. Then you can know the signs of Bhakti Yoga. That's that's Evam Pashamasa, Bhagavat Bhakti Yoga, Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam. And then you get to understand and realize transcendental knowledge. This is explained also in the Bhagavatam. Our purification is coming to goodness. That's purification. We are in goodness. From there, that's the beginning of Brahman realization. A Brahman is in goodness, should be in goodness. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. 16. Karmana sukritasya sattvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkam ajnanam tamasa phalam. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done, no, that we read already. Yes, that was 16. We went to 16, but I first show you the slide 16. Here. Pious action in the mode of goodness gives pure results. Action in the mode of passion gives misery, and action in the mode of ignorance gives foolishness. Modern civilization, which indulges in animal slaughter, is progressing towards the darkness of ignorance, and that is what happens today. So that the yellow here is goodness, passion, and then the ignorance, servants of Maya, and we are puppets in their hands. Puppets. And by that, there is competition, they fight, and so many things under these modes, because they are in this duality of good and bad, that good for the body, bad for the body. That what are you doing to me? And it's a cause of wars. And in the mode of passion, this is my country. You out, or I shoot you. Let's have a war. That's all the mode of passion and ignorance. It's horrible what Maya does to us. But we have to come to goodness, get out of that. Yes. Of course, we have to be careful that we don't perform devotional service in these modes with that separatist mentality. But this devotional service or the modes, under the modes, means we do it with a motivation, not to please Krishna, or also to please Krishna, but also to please me. And it's mixed. I want some material happiness also. That's not pure devotional service. That's devotional service in the modes. And if you want to read more about that, Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter 29, Teachings of Kapiladev, verses 8 to 12. It would bring us too far to study that here. It's an advanced study of the modes. Srimad Bhagavatam 3:29, 8 to 12. Just for your reference. Good. Then we go to the next one, verse 17. 17. Up. Satvansaya Tejanam Raja Salobai Vasha Pramadamo Tamasoba Bhavatojanam Vasha. Free from the modes, from the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And the mode of ignorance develops foolishness, madness, and illusion. So that's what you get by associating with these modes. In the 13th chapter, we heard, how do we associate with the modes? Bhakti, Jangunam, forgot but it's Bhakti Bhakti Jangunam, yeah, by trying to exploit modes of nature.
Yes.
That Bhakti Bhakti Jangunam, that was 17. That now let's go to the slides again. 17. Yeah. For people to become happy and prosperous, they must be educated in the mode of goodness by the process of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, they will be afflicted with greed and hankering for sense enjoyment in the mode of passion or madness, and intoxication in the mode of ignorance. Yeah. So to become happy and prosperous, they must be educated in the mode of goodness by the process of Krishna consciousness. Because that's the lifestyle of a devotee. Is clean, is truthful, is not eating meat, fish, and eggs. Oh, that's the mode of ignorance. It's not taking intoxication, that's the mode of ignorance. That he gives up sexual life, unless for procreation of children. So that's the mode of passion. We give up these things. We come to goodness. Then you become peaceful, and then you are receptive for Krishna consciousness, receptivity. Otherwise, you cannot understand anything. You cannot understand that if you are in passion and ignorance, you cannot not understand that you are not this body. You may hear it, but it's not going to happen. One needs goodness. In goodness, knowledge. Knowledge means transcendental knowledge. One can start to assimilate and realize. In passion and ignorance, the assimilation will not take place. It remains external. Good. The 17. So through Krishna consciousness, society will develop mode of goodness. When the mode of goodness is developed, people will see things as they are. So, because people have no education in actual knowledge, they become irresponsible. In the world, if the world is devoted to the mode of passion and ignorance, there can be no peace of prosperity. Will be competition, strife for supremacy, fight with each other. That even if one has enough money and an adequate arrangement for sense gratification, there is neither happiness nor peace of mind in that mode. And now we come to the last verse of this first section. Up. Thus, when we die in the modes, Utvan gachanti satvasta matitishtanti rajasa, jaganya gunavitista audagachanti tammasaha. Those situated in the mode of goodness shall they go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. So, Srila Prabhupada at the end of the purport says that tamasa indicates those who stay continuously in the mode of ignorance without rising to a higher mode. Their future is very dark. There is an opportunity for man in the mode of ignorance and passion to be elevated to the mode of goodness, and that system is called Krishna consciousness. So if you start to chant Hare Krishna, follow the principles, your heart will start to become purified from ignorance and passion. But one who does not take advantage of this opportunity will certainly continue in the lower modes. Now, first there are some quotes. We will read one of the quotes. I think there are more than one. Here, book of quotes. 18. Yeah, let's read this one. This is the middle planetary system. Can someone read that?
Yes, Maharaj, I can do this.
Thank you.
This is the middle planetary system. This earthly planet is called Bhurloka. Then above this, there is above this is Bhurloka. Then above this, there is Bhuburloka. Then above that, Shargaloka. They are heavenly planets. The heavenly planets begin from the moon planet. Jaganna Guna Briti Sta Adhu Gachati Tamasha. And those who are in the mood of darkness go down to animal life. So this human form of life is a chance to make our choice where we will go next. It is the higher or in the lower or remain here.
Yeah, but now we may question, how do we change our mode to goodness? How do we change our modes in a practical way? What does it really mean? That, therefore, I will share with you a verse. Let's see with me. I think I have it on my phone here. Go back to that's the last one. So there's a verse in the 11th canto, chapter 13, verse 4. This is from the Uddhav Gita. Uddhav Gita is Krishna instructing Uddhav. Agamo papachadesha kalakaman sajammacha dhyana mantro tasamkaro tasaite guna etavaha. According to the quality of religious scripture, water, one's association with one's children, or with people in general, the particular place, the time, activities, birth, meditation, chanting of mantras, and purificatory rituals, the modes of nature become differently prominent. So the quality of religious scriptures, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, you will become transcendently situated. Your heart will become purified. But if you read other scriptures, there are scriptures in the mode of passion, scriptures in the mode of ignorance even. Water, if pure water will purify you. One's association with people in general. If you associate with people in the mode of passion, you will be influenced by passion. If you associate with devotees, you will be influenced by the mode of goodness. And you will be able to change your mood by that association. And by a particular place. The place, yeah. If you visit everyday pubs, you will develop the mode of ignorance, that liquor shops and so on, that if you visit casinos and gambling places and where they drink, yeah, and and restaurants to enjoy, you will develop the mode of passion, and that will become stronger in your life. Chanting of mantras. If you chant Hare Krishna mantra, you will become purified. But there are mantras also for the tantrics in ignorance, and mantras for worship of demigods which are in passion. You become influenced by that.
Maharaj, I have a question then.
Yes.
Say we are visiting different places for kirtan, sankirtan. Those people actually not in the daily life, in devotional life, but they have type of devotion. They want to arrange the kirtan, they want to call the Vaishnavas, and we have to visit there. We have to do the kirtan, we have to do the katha, but we are associating with them. So how it is working with the association in goodness? Is it going devotional increase for us, or it will diminish our devotion and increase their devotion a little bit?
If you associate with those who are in lower modes, passionate ignorance, and then you have to give your association, to speak to them about Krishna, to give them prasadam, but not take anything.
Okay.
Okay?
Not taking from them, giving from us.
Yeah,
okay.
We give to them.
Okay.
Don't take from them. Then it will be all right. So now we are at the end of this small section here. Just a few things to remind. In verse 16, Srila Prabhupada speaks about cows worship. Protecting cows and Brahmins is an act in the mode of goodness. So that's part of our mood and mission. We want to worship cows, worship Brahmins and cows is part of our culture. That's very important. That we are also a theological application. We heard about life after death, that about becoming an animal or becoming a human or becoming a demigod. That also, yeah. How can humans become animals? We have to explain that to people. That's our preaching. That reincarnation, that sometimes people ask, can you prove it, that it exists, reincarnation? Then I ask them, can you prove it that it does not exist? How can you explain that your happiness and distress in this life without reincarnation? That no, they cannot. So many points to say about that. So I'm just making a few points. So we have also learned how to develop the mode of goodness as personal application. We must apply that ourselves. And we understand that these modes are competing. And by our practice of Krishna consciousness, we become immune to to that competing of the modes. Otherwise, we are just moved by these modes in our lives. We are becoming controlled. So that's verse 10 to 18. And now we come in the second section that I just